Hare Krishna. So Krishna has started glorifying the knowledge that he's going to give in this chapter, which is titled as The Opulence of the Absolute. He's going to speak about how he is the mysterious origin of everything. So to start with this particular topic, Krishna speaks a very, very important verse which gives a good prelude to what he's going to speak in future. So let's see this in shloka number 2. न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः. So here Krishna is saying, न मे विदुः सुरगणाः महर्षयः. Neither the demigods nor the great sages viduhu know my prabhavam, my origin or opulence. And then he says, aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. I am the source of whom devanam, the demigods, the devi devtas, and maharshinam, and the sages, cha sarvashah. In every respect, in all respects, he is the origin. So Krishna has started speaking about his opulence. He is saying that no one can understand me. The Devatas cannot understand me. Or someone might say, is it because they are materially attached so they are not able to understand you? No, the ones who are materially detached, the sages, they are also not able to understand me. That's how great my opulence is. So this is what Krishna has started speaking about his opulence. Let's see some of the important points. So in Brahma Samhita, the first shloka that we quote, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam Sarvakarana Karanam. So Krishna is Anadir Adir. He is the personality who has no beginning. And he is the one who is Sarvakarana Karanam, cause of all causes. Everything that exists in this world, animate, inanimate, the things and people, everything has an origin, and that origin is Krishna. Who is cause of all causes? Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. And who is saying this? Brahma is saying this in Brahma Samhita. Who is supposed to be the creator, the secondary creator of this entire universe. He is saying that you are the cause of all causes. Here it's very nicely given that even demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. So what is the position of so-called scholars of this tiny planet? No one can understand why the Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such wonderful, uncommon activities. In Bhagavatam, there is a personality called Gajendra. So Gajendra is an elephant. And he was in a very, very critical situation because almost the situation of death where a crocodile had caught his leg. And the fight was going on for many, many millions of years, but then who was getting weaker? Gajendra was getting weaker. And when he found that there is nothing that can be done, so Gajendra, he starts offering prayers to the Lord. Very, very wonderful prayers. It comes in 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter. In 6th verse of that particular chapter, Gajendra is saying very, very beautifully with humility. He is saying, Nayasya deva rishaya padam vidur janto punako rati gantum irhitum yatha natasya kritibhir vicheshtato duratyayano kramanas samavatuh. So he is saying, Nayasya deva. Devas, Devi Devtas, they also don't know you, O Krishna. Nayasya deva. Maybe sages know me? No. Gajendra is saying, Rishaya Padam Vidur. Even the rishis, the great sages, they also don't know you. And then he puts himself in front. Actually, he's speaking on behalf of all of us. And he says, Jantu punako ratigantu miritum. Then how can a Jantu like me, a common entity like me, understand you, O Krishna? Very, very beautiful shloka. So, same thing is spoken here also. That the demigods and sages, even they don't know me, Krishna says. And what do we think? some degrees on our nameplate and we think that, oh, I'm a scholar. Academically, I'm a topper. Academically, I have so and so degree. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. I can understand Krishna. Are Devi Devatas cannot understand one mode of goodness. The rishis cannot understand, who are so exalted and so detached from this world. Then we people in mode of ignorance and passion, what we will understand? We cannot. So our academic scholarship of this world is of no use. It's almost a big zero when it comes to understanding Krishna. We cannot understand Krishna by any of our material qualification. So if we are thinking that, oh, I'm so and so materially, so maybe I can do bhakti also like that, I think then we are in complete illusion. It's a very important fact to note that when we practice bhakti, we should understand none of our material qualification will work. Because the bhakti is on a different platform, is on the transcendental platform, and all our material qualifications are there on the material platform. Material, transcendental, there is no connection, it's a huge difference that is there. So, through bhakti, through the practice of devotional service, when Lord Sri Krishna is pleased with us, when He reveals Himself to us, we can actually understand Krishna, or else it's impossible to understand Krishna. That's what is the point that is mentioned here. And then it is said, it is not possible to, one should know then that scholarship is not qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation and they have failed to do so. It is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation. If we are thinking that we'll do some jugglery, the word jugglery, or we'll try to use our intelligence to understand Krishna, sorry, not possible. Because if we can understand Krishna through our intelligence, what does that mean? Our intelligence is greater than Krishna, which is not correct. So we cannot understand Krishna. Logically proved. But then, here it's very nicely given, that we can actually understand Krishna, who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, simply by studying His words in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a very important point to note, that Krishna has revealed Himself to all of us in two important literatures. The first one is Bhagavad Gita, where He is Himself speaking about His own glories. And Srimad Bhagavatam, where His wonderful pastimes, wonderful qualities, and His intimacy with the devotees is very nicely described. So when we read Srimad Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam under the guidance of a realized soul, what happens is we get the opportunity to understand Lord Sri Krishna. So thinking that and speculating that I'll understand Krishna, not possible. But if we just ask Krishna to reveal Himself to us through His Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand Krishna. Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of His causeless mercy descends to show favor to such speculators. Yet despite the Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that impersonal Brahman is supreme. So this is a very important point to note. Why does Krishna come to this material world? It's all good in Goloka Vrindavan. Why He has to descend here in this material world? He gets His Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna, all His associates, the Gopa friends, the Gopi friends, and His cows. Why He has to get all that to this material world? Why He has to lift Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights on His little finger of left hand? Why? He's doing all these wonderful pastimes. Firstly, He descends and He does all these wonderful pastimes only for one reason, so that He attracts all our hearts. So that we understand that there was a person like that, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a person like that, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descended to do His pastimes for all of us. But still, there are so-called scholarly people, all the educated ones, who call these pastimes of Krishna as mythology. Myth means which is false. And the personality Krishna Himself, they call it as a person who is one of the great persons who just appeared in the past, or some people say that that is also some illusory person or some person from the mystical stories. So this is a very important point to understand, that Krishna is a person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends to attract all our hearts. And here it is given, Only the devotees who are fully surrendered onto the Supreme Lord can understand, by the grace of the Supreme Personality, that He is Krishna. Devotees of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately on Supreme Lord, and out of causeless mercy of Krishna they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand Him. When it comes to devotees, devotees are least bothered about what is Brahman. Because the devotees are attracted to the beautiful form of Krishna. Why will they get attracted to the light that is coming from the body of Krishna? And they're so surrendered to Krishna because of having intense faith in the words of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the words of the realized souls. They surrender to Krishna. And by their surrender, by their sincere, serious endeavor, Krishna's mercy is attracted and Krishna reveals Himself to all of them. I mean the devotees. So in this way, our sincerity and seriousness is very, very important when it comes to understanding Krishna. When every day we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we are actually showing to Krishna that, oh Krishna, I am sincere. Oh Krishna, I am serious. I want to know you. I want to understand you. I want to attain you this very lifetime. Oh Krishna, please reveal yourself to me. Please engage me in your devotional service. So when we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is what it means. So we as devotees, we have to show our sincerity and seriousness in the practice of devotional service. And rest Krishna will do. That is revealing Himself to all of us. So let's see. Krishna is going to speak more about His wonderful qualities. And He's going to attract all our hearts by showing His opulence. So let's see that in shloka number 3 in the next video. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.